The strategy I'm about to give you took me from a $500 investment into my Amazon FBA store to where I'm at now, making $30K a month all through Amazon FBA. I'm going to show you the main framework you need to take so that you can be successful over and over again, as well as some things to watch out for that beginners don't typically see. A lot of this information is from my own experience and also from me coaching my students over the last year, seeing what everyone struggles with, and I don't see this talked about a whole lot. So soak up some value from this one. This one's going to be straight informational and purely focused on helping you sell things online and make lots of money. So first things first, how do we treat our store when we're trying to start it? So the first thing I think new sellers need to understand is how to buy and sell products to grow aggressively on Amazon. A lot of people get started with Amazon and they take it easy, they take it slow, a couple products here, a couple products there, which is totally fine. I have nothing wrong with starting things slow and taking it easy, but I always want to get to the paper as soon as I can, as fast as I can, doing it as well as I can, and overall making sure things run efficiently and smoothly. So this plan is going to be geared towards someone who wants to grow a little bit more aggressively on Amazon and who wants to really put in the extra work to test those limits and push those boundaries of what's possible in this field, because a lot is possible. It is not every day that you see a kid like me go from a 9-to-5 making $1,500 every 2 weeks to doing 30K months consistently, and that's like bottom line profit for me. So when we talk about scaling aggressively, we need to talk about buying structure. This is, once you find good products, how much do you buy of them? How aggressively do you scale? How quickly do you restock them? All that I'm going to answer right now. And the first thing I want to answer is, how many do you buy? Now, one thing you need to understand about selling on Amazon is you have to be ungated. Ungated is just a fancier word for you need to be approved by Amazon to sell on their platform. A lot of people have issues with this, but really Amazon's trying to protect its sellers so that if a customer is unhappy with your product, you at least have the insurance of Amazon having your back, because they know where you got it from, they know that it's legit product, and that it's not counterfeit or unsellable in any way. So knowing that we have to get ungated, something else you have to know is certain products, certain brands will let you get ungated with a 10-item purchase. Other brands will make you get ungated with a 100-unit purchase or 200 units. I've even seen all the way up to 500 units. And this just means that Amazon wants to see you purchase 500 units from a reputable distributor or retailer of the brand that you are trying to ungate, trying to get approved in, so that you can have permission to sell. So I tell all new students, go for the items and the brands that you can ungate with 10 units. Meaning all you have to do is, let's say the brand is Crayola. If you're trying to ungate Crayola, you go to Target.com, buy the item that you're trying to sell from Target, get it shipped to your house, and show that invoice to Amazon along with pictures of your items to go ahead and get approved. Now, once you're approved, you can sell anything from that brand. But this is a very important piece of information, because I tell all new sellers in the beginning, you should only be focusing on products that you can get ungated with a 10-unit purchase. Because something I stress to everyone starting, I recommend everyone starting to go wide on their products and not narrow. And this is where truly a lot of beginners get messed up at, is because many people with Amazon FBA want that one good product to hit and make them $100,000 in their first month, which if your store is too heavy on one product and that product starts to not sell well, or you're having trouble shipping it out, or your customers are giving bad reviews, if anything goes wrong with that one product, your whole store comes crashing down with it. So instead of going narrow on one product that you think is good and that has the best looking data on SellerAmp, go very wide on many products that you can test. The first phases of Amazon FBA are all about testing. The more that you test, the more data that you'll gather. And the more work you do in this field, the more you'll understand that Amazon FBA is all about data. We're leveraging data to make money. I think a lot of people get into Amazon FBA and want to sell stuff that they like or that they're interested in, or things that'll help them at home, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, we buy data that looks good. If I get on SellerAmp and I see that something is selling a lot of times per month, not that many sellers, buy box being rotated, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna sell it no matter if I know what it is or not. So with that being said, my job in the beginning of starting my store is to source as many testable products as possible. Now, what do I mean by testable? It needs to have three things for it to be a good item for you to sell. One, the data needs to look good on SellerAmp. If you guys want a video on SellerAmp information and what it should be at, let me know. But the product, you have to be able to source good products. You have to find a good one on SellerAmp. that meets your requirements for sales per month, people already selling it, price history, etc. Second thing for a product to be testable is you need to be able to get ungated with 10 units. Again, the reason I say this is because in the beginning, you want to test very wide. It's not necessarily about keeping costs low, but it's a plus. If you have $1,000 to spend, I would rather see you spend $100 on 10 products than $1,000 on one product or $500 on two products. Again, the wider that you go, the more moving parts that you have in your store to make sure that you're successful. And the third thing that your item needs to have is size and weight requirements. In the beginning, you don't want to be shipping things that are too heavy or too big. This is going to drive your cost price up and ultimately cut into your profit. So you want to focus on shipping light and small items, especially as a beginner seller, just learning the ropes. Now, once you start finding these products, your main goal as a beginner seller is testing. You must test as wide as possible. And I'm going to take you through the way that I tested in the beginning when I first started selling on Amazon. I will start by testing 10 products. I order them, put them into my store. If 6 do good and 4 do bad, I keep the 6 going, reorder them, restock them. And once I sell out on those 4, I'm done with them. After that, I will test 10 more products. If 5 of those do good and 5 of them do bad, I'll keep the 5 from that batch. Now I have 11 products in my store that are doing good. Let those other 5 die off. Test another 10. Out of those 10, maybe I have 7 that are good and 3 that are bad. Now I've got 18 products in my store, all selling back to back on a consistent schedule. And that's the part that most people neglect. Everyone wants to get into Amazon, find one product and hit it big off of that, when in reality, what we're doing here is building up something more like a convenience store. And this is a good strategy, especially if you're nervous or paranoid or just cautious in the beginning, because for anyone who is starting Amazon, let's say you have 3 products in your store. You've only been able to source 3 products. If one of those products goes south, now a third of your inventory is either unsellable, you have an issue with it, it's selling slow, whatever. Whereas if you test wide, like I'm telling you to, like I'm saying, you'll have much more room so that if you're testing 10 products and 1 does bad, or 1 goes south, you can't ship it, whatever happens, you've still got 9 in your back pocket that can be that first brick. Now, this may be an unpopular way to start Amazon, but I see it just the same as bricklaying. When you're building a wall, you don't put the whole wall up at once or try and build it all out of one brick. Everything that you do is brick by brick by brick by brick. It may seem boring in the beginning and it may seem a little unrewarding, but these feelings are the things that hold normal people back. When normal people get into a business and they don't see an immediate return, or the item that they're selling doesn't make $100,000 in the first month, people tend to give up. Now, this is a good thing in my opinion, because for entrepreneurs who are really just success-minded, you can pass through all of those setbacks by simply not giving up. A lot of the things when it comes to Amazon or any business in general boil down to just not giving up. Every business model works. Airbnbs, credit repair, Amazon FBA, all the business models work. People make money every single day. It boils down to, are you willing to make the mistakes? Are you willing to do the brick by brick work that it takes? Are you willing to go through all of the sacrifice and hardship that entrepreneurs go through? Because at the end of the day, this success is one of the most sought after commodities on earth. Everyone wants it, not a whole lot of people have it. And that in itself makes it more difficult, because there are things about business that most people are just not willing to do. So now that you know about testing wide on Amazon, your first steps as a new seller, if you're watching this, and even if you're in your first stages of selling, if you haven't started to hit 10K a month yet, your main focus should be testing as many products as humanly possible. Because at the end of the day, we can look at SellerAmp, we can look at Keepa, and we can guesstimate that this product will do good and that it'll sell this many times per month. And most of the time, we are usually on point. But at the end of the day, the only raw, hard data that can really prove a point and really give you some reassurance is sales. Sales, 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 and sales don't happen unless you have products in your store. And trust me, once you start seeing sales, that's the data that you need at the end of the day to make smart decisions and to reinvest where it needs to and let die what must die. So make sure you're paying attention to the data in your store. Make sure you're paying attention to how wide you're sourcing. Do not get caught up on FOMO or trying to buy into the next hot commodity or the next big thing or the next seasonal item. It's the same when it comes to rushing people to the bottom of the price. You know, when new sellers get on Amazon and they see maybe the price went down after they bought an item and they get really scared and they lower their price as low as they can go to make barely any profit. Just for a huge seller to come in with bigger profit margins, they can lower their prices even lower. They'll race you to the bottom. They will race you all the way to the bottom until you're not making any profit. You have to sell at a loss, and now they're back on the listing with thousands of inventory, and they can go ahead and raise their price back up and start selling as normal. You can't operate out of fear. You can't operate off of emotion, because when that happens, you will get taken advantage of by some of these bigger sellers out here. You have to have a plan, and that plan has to have integrity. You have to know what you're going to price at. You have to know where your profit's at, and you have to test very, very wide. These are all things that will add up to you being successful on Amazon FBA. And I'm going to continue to keep dropping these gems for y'all, because I truly believe that these are the things that separate professional Amazon sellers, people that make the 30K per month, the 50K per month, from people who are really struggling to take off with Amazon or just procrastinating even starting. These are the lessons that I wish I knew in the beginning, that I could have skipped a lot of the failures that I made. And really, at the end of the day, a lot of the technical stuff about setting things up, reading Keep a Charts, reading SellerAmp, a lot of that stuff is available on YouTube. And if it's not, then there's always a mentorship that can teach you how to do certain things. But I don't really see anyone talk about the overall big picture things like buying structure, the psychology of Amazon FBA, how you should think about your store. I think these are really important and invaluable tips, things that got me, the things that separated me from my competition when I was first starting. Because I came in as a little fish in a big sea, and you have to make a name for yourself. And the way that I did that was by raw action. This is something I'm a big fan of, is just taking that action. A lot of times brute forcing your way into an industry is possible with enough energy, with enough imposing of your will on the industry that you're trying to get into. Like, for example, whenever I blew up on TikTok, people thought that it was like an overnight thing, that TikTok did its thing and its algorithm. And while it did, I got a lot of views from TikTok, I didn't blow up until I posted like 175 TikToks before. So that was my way of brute forcing my way into social media. Is like, I said, I'm just gonna keep uploading videos until something pops off. And it wasn't like oh, I'll do this many videos and see what happens. No, I'm gonna get in the lab every single day. I'm gonna commit to this, and I'm gonna keep putting good content out. And at the end of the day, I have no expectations here. I'm just going to work as hard as humanly possible. And a lot of times that's the formula that gets you where you want to go. The same thing can happen for Amazon. So hopefully this can pass some value to you, and you can take it and run with it, because at the end of the day, this is still the best business model to get into as a beginner entrepreneur. If you don't really have like skills pointed in one direction or unsure of a path to go down, this was really something for me that made sense, that I could understand, because at the end of the day, it's supply and demand. We're looking for stuff that people want, and we're giving it to them. Nothing more simple than that. If you want to join in the mentorship, you can DM me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram right here. You can DM me on Instagram. The one-on-one mentorship is exactly what it sounds like. I take my students one-on-one, show them everything from beginning to end, how Amazon FBA works, what to do at every crossroads, and basically hold your hand to your first 10K on Amazon FBA. There's a lot of money to be made out here for anyone who can work hard enough and stay in the game. So don't be lazy, don't procrastinate, sell things online, make lots of money. I'll see y'all next time.